Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Production with my co-host Stacie. We're doing a From Rewatch. We're rewatching the episode. We're commenting on it. You guys can watch along with us and comment as well, or you can just listen to us. Either way, we're doing episode 7, which is titled "All Good Things," and I think they were going for irony in that specific case because absolutely nothing good happens in this episode. I mean, not from a quality standpoint, but as far as events, it's
something really good happens for Jasmine and her friends.
Yeah. They have a ball, a good old time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So before we get into this, last week there was a brief interruption.
Yeah, which was half hour ago for us because we were recording back to back.
Right. Yeah. So basically, a dog was out loose and about.
And a neighbor knocked on the door asking if it was our dog. I ended up going outside and finding the dog myself, and it's actually my next door neighbor's dog that had gotten loose while they are not home. So we brought the dog in, and he hung out with us for a little while, and we called his mom, and he's now back home safely.
So for those of you who are worried about the dog, that dog is home safe and sound. Now, Stacie, do you want to say some other things, right?
About what?
I don't know. Yeah, the lead into...
About this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're no longer concerning ourselves with Milo.
Milo is safe. Lily is still here. She's cuddling with Dave now. Okay. So we are on episode 7. We have our MGM Plus account loaded, the episode loaded. We have already gone through the previously on segment, and I have it paused on the screen that says MGM Presents, which is at 2 minutes and 3 seconds into this video. So go ahead and get your videos there if you want to watch along with us. And then we're going to do a countdown.
All right.
And we can all hit play at the same time. So pause us until you're ready. And when you're ready...
3, 2, 1.
All right. So we're at Colony House. Oh, yes, it's Fatima's party.
Oh, yes.
So she has been in Fromville for a whole year, and we get to meet a lot of Colony House residents that we didn't really see before. So they're setting up for the party.
You know, Ellis and Donna were not in the last episode.
No, they weren't.
And yeah, this is, you said this is the 1-year anniversary for Fatima?
Yeah. Which we know is February 28th, 2022. Because her missing poster was February 28th, 2021. So the Matthews have been in town for 6 days.
Yeah, this episode is the one I was most excited to talk about. Definitely why I wanted to film it back to back is because, a lot happens. This is the big episode of the season. Basically, it's a brutal episode. A lot of bad things happen.
So she pulled out her favorite sweater that she keeps hidden from Trudy because Trudy loves it. And we know Trudy steals everybody's clothes. That's her thing. But it's Ellis's favorite. So Fatima's going to wear it to her party for Ellis.
Do you think Trudy would like the shirt that I'm wearing?
No.
She'd probably like your shirt more.
Your shirt's a little plain for her.
Yeah, and after this episode, nobody's going to be wearing that sweatshirt, I don't think. How would you get blood out of clothing? Because I know it's really difficult.
Peroxide.
Peroxide, okay.
Hydrogen peroxide's a good place to start. But that much blood, it's a lost cause.
We also have a mini little subplot of Ellis basically drinking throughout the episode.
So Ellis
and getting started
is
early.
Expressing a little bit of a drinking problem. Fatima's not happy about this. The party hasn't even started yet. He's already pretty drunk. And, we'll find out, and I don't remember if it's directly said or if it's just kind of subcontext, that he's having a hard time with the idea of celebrating being here, right?
Is that the reason he's drinking so much, or is this because somehow this reminds him of his mother in that situation?
Well, right, the whole thing, like, this place sucks.
Right.
Like, I lost my mother because of this place. I don't like celebrating being here a year.
Right.
I mean, they're celebrating surviving a year.
Right.
And they're looking for an excuse to party. Because isn't every night a party at Colony House?
I mean, pretty much. Unattractive people getting it on. At least that's what we saw.
Alright, so Victor is looking for peaches.
Oh, is this where we run out of peaches?
So.
Oh, okay. And Victor sees that as a very bad sign.
Yep. Ellis, trying to get everybody drunk. And Donna knows we're out of peaches. Finally, it's so sad. But, I mean, eventually they had to run out.
Yeah.
Victor.
I mean, maybe there's a peach tree somewhere. They could have grown some more. Yeah, he sees this as a bad omen.
All these years, that's the one thing that never changed. And now they're gone. All these, because you found a truck full of them. We'll learn in 201 or 202, one of those.
Exactly how long are peaches in a can good for?
I mean, there's, Best By dates on canned goods, but in an apocalypse situation, they're fine.
There's Kevin leaving the flowers for his lover.
Again, so she didn't get in last night. Or is that the same? Is this supposed to be the day before? Or is it her visiting a second night in a row?
I thought it was her visiting a second night in a row.
Okay.
I got the feeling, and we have our credits, que sera, sera.
Que sera, sera.
I got the feeling that was like a regular
Every
thing.
night they meet.
So that's one way to psychologically manipulate somebody.
Right. I mean, we were talking about this at the end of our last video. So, like, she's playing a long game here, right? She is, she has formed this relationship with him and this trust with him that's gonna come to a head,
right,
in this episode. And it's one thing I have speculated or questioned is why now? Why in episode 1 did Grandma pick it that night to ask Megan to open the window? Because that would have probably worked any night.
Yeah.
Why did
Jasmine,
thank you, choose this night to be like, okay, you know what, if you're not going to let me in, I can't do this anymore. I'm breaking up with you. And I have a theory. People have suggested, like, oh, well, new people come because people died.
Right.
My thought is, what if people are dying because new people are scheduled to arrive? Like the reverse of it.
Yeah.
Like, they picked that night to kill Megan and her mother to make the house available. Like, they meaning whatever From is. That's not the monsters themselves, but whatever's, like, controlling the monsters, right? And telling them what to do, because something is controlling them.
Right.
Or maybe it's them. I don't know, but...
So you're thinking they picked now to cause all this chaos
because
specifically for
the
bus
is coming.
Okay. Makes sense.
Because that's already, like, scheduled in their
kind of like I schedule a video, they're scheduling when people are going to get trapped in this town.
I mean, obviously it's very intentional that we have a bus with Ellis, who has, or not Ellis, Elgin, who has some connection to this place, right?
Right.
And obviously Mario and Tilly, like, they're meant to be here.
Okay.
And it's very intentional that they're together and the bus is coming.
All right, we see Boyd ringing the bell. I didn't think we'd seen that outside of the premieres of Season 1 and Season 2, but I guess we do other times as well.
Here's the Chromonacle book.
Oh. So I think we spend our main time in 2 locations, and that's basically in County House, where all that stuff happens, and at the sheriff's office with Boyd
station,
and
right.
Patry.
And so Patri's outside waiting for the sheriff to get done ringing the bell so he can chat with him.
It's time to put those shades down.
Ethan fell asleep.
She's just going to leave him on the couch.
Listening to the Chromonacle story. I mean, it's as good a place as any.
I suppose.
Can't put him in Megan's room.
Yeah, okay.
He's been sleeping in a bed next to their bed, but...
A little privacy every once in a while is a good thing. She pulls the shades down. Oh, okay, I think this is... So, Kenny goes into Jade's room and is basically inviting him down for dinner. And Kenny's getting a little sick of the whole obsession with the symbols thing.
Yeah, so that was Kenny's book that Jade decided
yeah. So that's
to mark up.
the other reason why he's angry. Jade has no boundaries.
Is that the book he's sharing with Christy? Or do you think that's a different book?
I think it might be the same book.
I don't think we saw the cover just now.
And here, Katri and Boyd are meeting up, and Boyd realizes that he's going to be spending the night with Katri.
Yeah.
That's going to get awkward.
He says, can't wait till morning, so guess we're having a sleepover. Last time we had a sleepover, it didn't go that well. And that was the night that Christy accidentally gave Sarah permission to kill Ethan.
I mean, that's how Christy thinks about it, but, I mean, that's not really what happened.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of similar to the conversation we had about Sullivan's Crossing episode 3.
Right.
Where,
Maggie,
the
runaway situation,
was told from this girl that she wants to run away and didn't take it seriously, and then kind of blames herself when the girl did it.
Which, again, like I mentioned in that podcast, that's not really accurate. Like, nobody would take that, the way she said that, seriously. Most people would react in the exact same way that...
But how should you react when someone tells you...
Well, I mean, I, knowing what happened, watch this conversation and go, what the hell, Christy? But I can see why maybe Christy didn't
think, like, oh, she's trying to do something bad.
Right. What is Matthew's going to do this week? They're already digging a hole in the ground and,
so they're talking,
wrecking their walls.
They're talking about their concern for Julie being in Colony House. And they're like, oh, Donna will take care of her. But they have a reason to be concerned about her being in Colony House.
This episode, I think this is the end of Julie being at Colony House.
Yeah.
She
goes back to visit, but she doesn't go back to sleep there again, I don't think. So he's trying to figure out what to do next with the radio. He says, there's something there, but I don't know what to do yet.
Right.
She's being encouraging. She's wearing that Fame shirt again. That may actually have Harold Perrineau. I'm not sure if he's in that picture.
Huh, that'd be funny.
He might be. It's possible. He was in, I think, later seasons, so...
Oh, okay.
Depends what season that's from.
How long did that run?
A bunch of years.
Really?
I think, yeah.
So they're partying down at Colony House.
Ellis has definitely had too much.
Yep. And he's getting kind of moody, to put it mildly.
And we're about to meet a really great character.
Oh, is this the first time we see him?
Yeah. Or at the very least, it's the first time he has lines. But I don't think we've seen him.
Oh yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. And his character name is escaping me.
Okay, Julie's wearing a completely different dress than I thought she was wearing. Like, I thought she was wearing the one that she was wearing, like, forever, a couple episodes back, but she's not wearing that same one.
Alright, so...
Oh, and there's him in the background.
So what's his name? The character?
Oh
my gosh, what is the matter with us?
I knew it.
It's been too long. Played by Cliff Saunders, the real-life husband of Donna's actress, Elizabeth Saunders. So this is a great one for them as a couple. They got to film this episode together. So Donna is... Dale is his name.
Dale, okay.
It came. So she's, giving a speech about Fatima being here a year. Her green thumb, she's been growing weed for them. And she has a present for her.
Did she wrap it, or is that just it right there that she's holding?
It's wrapped. You don't remember what it is?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay. Well, it plays into...
surprise!
It plays into our themes, right?
Yeah. Is it a baby blanket? Nah, that's
not that theme.
Oh, the Dreamcatcher. Okay.
Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
Because dreams are going to be very important in season 2.
Right. they share a touching moment and hug.
Yeah, so we got Dale and Trudy in the background and some other unnamed extras.
So I'm wondering if anybody's gonna, like, stop Julie from doing any of that stuff. She's actually a pretty well-behaved character, given the fact that she's completely away from her parents. All right, so this is the moment where one of the people that we don't. Oh, there's Kevin in the background.
There's Kevin going upstairs.
So she ends up making out with somebody, and Julie is a little weirded out by that situation, a little uncomfortable, and I'm actually kind of curious as to why exactly. Is it because she has a crush on Fatima?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
She has a crush on Fatima, and she's like, well, wait, Fatima's with Ellis. What's happening here?
Right, yeah, well, there's that aspect, too. And Katri... Okay, so Katri is telling Boyd...
So, yeah, here we're going to get Katri's story.
And, when I was originally watching this, I'm like, where is Katri going with this story exactly? What is he... It sounds like he's confessing to, like, a murder that he did, but... I'm like watching this the entire time, wondering where are you going with this and why.
Well, where he was going with this is Sarah's important.
Right.
So, in order for me to explain to you why what she drew means something, I got to tell you what it means to me.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
How important this is. So
well, yeah. I mean, I get that.
Confess my story.
I get that after the fact, but like originally watching him, like, what are you doing, Katri?
Yeah. So he gave him the bloody shirt, and he gave him the whole bag, the candy bar. And we're going to get his backstory. So far, we've gotten Donna's backstory. And we heard somebody else's already. I don't remember who.
Well, there's some other people that, we've talked about in our time. So, yeah, there was a boy in his congregation that he was really fond of. He was sensitive and quiet. And he...
used to get so excited.
Yes, I could just read the dialogue from the screen. But basically, this boy was someone that he eventually became concerned about.
Right. But not concerned enough. And he feels guilty about not really doing enough to help this boy. Now, did the boy die?
I'm not really sure. I don't remember.
They don't explicitly say that the boy or the dad died, but I think they both died. That's I think what I get out of it.
And, this is Katri's last episode, and it's a shame.
It's his last living episode.
Well, yeah.
We get to see this actor plenty more.
But it's kind of a shame because this is a really well-acted, interesting character.
Yeah, well, if you have these really strong monologues and this big surrounding story, you might be in trouble.
Right.
That's how it goes.
So he ended up staying with Katri after Mass.
Yeah, okay, so the kid wanted to stay with him, and the kid didn't want to go home because the kid's being abused at home, and he sent him home.
Right.
That's where it goes. He gave him the candy bar.
Oh, yeah.
Sent him on his way, and, later goes to check on him, but at that point, it's too late.
I mean, of course, how is Katri really supposed to know any of this?
Right.
It's, once again, kind of unfairly blaming himself for something that you really...
Right. It wasn't you that did it. But he felt, like he should have realized there was more going on than what he knew.
I think as people, we don't go out of our way to notice these things.
So, yeah, he's like, I went to check on him. The mother came running out of the house hysterical. And I'm pretty sure the kid is dead.
Probably.
Is what he's saying. But he doesn't come out and say that explicitly. The father telling the boy to get up. very sad story. Laying there broken.
I mean, that seems to pretty much indicate that he's definitely dead.
His neck was bulging in a way. So yeah, he snapped his neck. And in his pocket was the candy bar. And you know, it's interesting that he's described it as the boy looked broken. That's one of those hot terms for season 2, right?
Right, yeah.
They touch, they break, they steal, and we're looking at those references. Well, we have one right here. The boy was broken is how he describes it.
So basically, Khatri lost his mind and just started pummeling
the father. So he beat up the dad. He says, I couldn't stop, hit him over and over again. And again, he doesn't say it. He says, the bones in my hand were starting to break. And he doesn't say, I killed the man.
Right.
But I think that's what he's saying.
The implication is
I think he kept going until the guy was dead.
So yeah, he's basically saying, you know, he was supposed to be the defender of the defenseless. A kid came to him for help, and he sent him away with a candy bar. And that's something that really haunts Khatri.
So he was going to kill himself.
Right.
He started drinking, he was going to jump off a bridge, and he heard God's voice telling him to get in the car, and he drove here.
I'm curious if that voice was perhaps the
voices.
Right.
Could it have been whatever Sarah's hearing? Could it have been the boy in white?
Right.
Could it have been
anything
that he literally was hearing a voice fromville,
right,
beckoning him here?
And is perhaps this incident with this kid and the father the reason why he was chosen to come here in the first place?
So he's revealed that Sarah's alive, and Boyd's not taking that well.
No, he takes out a gun, and at this point, I'm like right there with him. Like I've said that before. Like I had every sympathy for Boyd. Like he specifically said, you need to put Frank in the box.
Right.
He was a major proponent of that. And, you know, now that someone who absolutely does deserve it, no question, that Khatri is protecting it and revealing that. And, of course, Boyd is pissed.
Right.
And wouldn't you be? So, yeah, I was right there with him at that point.
All right. So here's Frank again.
Frank? Kevin?
You said Frank. And
right.
Kevin and Jasmine.
She's about to break up with him.
Yeah.
She's a real harder...
She says, I came to say goodbye. And again, that means they picked this night, right? Out of all nights. She's like, we're making it happen tonight.
Because she probably could have done this at any point.
Right. Or at least...
And it would have worked.
You know, for a while now, I'm sure.
But, you know, she's women will really rip your heart out.
She just rips his tongue out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she ends up munching on his organs.
Other parts.
And, women, you know, you date a woman, you fall in love, they're just going to leave you a hollow shell of a man. I've been waiting a while to make that joke. I'm sure I made it in the Facebook groups occasionally, but, you know.
She says, you have no idea how lonely it is out here. You know, it wasn't my choice to be this way. And I think that's true. I honestly think the monsters were human at one point, and they were changed, and they are stuck in this life. And based on their clothes, I would guess it was early 60s, whatever happened to them.
Well,
that's my guess.
What happened to Jasmine, but I think they're from all different eras. I don't think they're from the same era.
I haven't seen anybody that looks explicitly newer than the 60s.
But then again, we also have the theory that these scenes keep repeating. So
right.
This is from the last repeat, all these monsters. And then eventually they're going to pick the new selection and it's going to be from this era.
I mean, that is one theory.
Right.
We don't really know.
Right, of course.
We don't really know a whole lot, to be honest. It's mostly speculation, what we know about this show.
Right. Oh,
but
Kevin,
the Frumley has lots of ideas. All right, so...
There's Dale trying to put the moves on.
Dale is going off about string theory and dimensions. And Stacie, that's the girl that Fatima was kissing. You know, she's like, well, you think we're in another dimension? And Ellis is like, not having this.
Right.
He's like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about.
Now, I'm guessing that these two have like some pre-established rivalry that we're just getting into the middle of here.
Right.
But, yeah, so I think that Ellis is way out of line here in the way he acts. But Dale says that thing about hinting towards his mother, which was also way out of line.
Right, so Fatima and Donna split them up. And but he's so drunk.
Now, some people like thought that Dale's comment was racial when he was talking about the whole shooting
know yet what the heck they're talking about. So he says he's going to go upstairs and lie down.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to walk away from the situation.
Good call. Good call. Is it where does it Dale end up getting punched out?
I thought that was like right now, but oh yeah, right here. Okay. So he was like mother, like son, talking about, you know, referring to Abby like shooting everybody and being violent.
Right.
And Donna puts him in his place, punches him, and a great moment again for the Saunders that she got to just punch her husband on television.
And here's Kevin letting in Jasmine, closing the window at Jasmine's insistence.
That shower curtain goes right around the window. The window's literally in the bathtub.
It's
a little
weird.
Strange.
I don't know why you would want that set up.
I wonder if this is the same bathtub where Elgin has his dream.
And you know, he touches her and she feels warm, which is interesting in and of itself.
Yeah. So he's like, you feel warm? And she's like, of course I do. What did you expect? But you don't have blood in your body, we learned in season 2. So why are you warm?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe it's all part of the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Are you is your what you feel like also an illusion, just like your what you visually present yourself as?
And she starts to get a little kinky, and
there come the nails. So the nails did extend. She
bites out his
tongue. He realizes he made a big mistake.
Yeah, Jasmine, that's generally not how you do foreplay. But, you know, it's been a while since she's been human, so she can be forgiven.
Alright, so
this is
Jade's not hungry.
This is my favorite little bit. You know, Jade's refusing to go downstairs, and then she comes in shouting cat knees. He does not understand her, but he knows what she is yelling at him about.
Yeah.
And, alright, fine, I'll go and eat dinner. That's one of my favorite Mrs. Wu Jade moments in the show.
They have a lot of great moments.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, he's just like this child that's like humping out of his room. Here comes the Julie moment. Oh, no. Actually, I'm sorry. This is Trudy. Trudy and Tabitha. Not Tabitha. Fatima. There's so many uhs in the show. But yeah, when I was watching the scene of them kind of reconciling, like, you know, she's down and she's comforting her and she ends up giving up the sweater, I'm like, one of these two is going to die, if not both of them. It was just like, the entire scene just spelled, like, doom for one of these characters. And we already know that one of the monsters is in the house at this point. Of course, neither one of them know that. And she's bummed because she thinks she's not going to make it to her 1-year anniversary. Yeah,
and she very much is not.
Right. So Fatima's trying to make her feel better and giving her this sweater that she knows that Trudy loves. And I thought they were going to play more into this, but it happened really quick. You know, where Alice was going to confuse them because she's wearing wearing Fatima's
maybe make
jacket.
out with her and then...
Well, no, like when he finds her body.
He
thinks it's Fatima. I mean, their hair does look a little similar. You know, they're both long and kind of crimpy. oh, this is just gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Trudy's like, I got something for you. She's going to go get her most prized possession, her pillow that she named. And that's what's going to get her killed, is going up to get her pillow.
Yep.
So Julie wants to get some clarification about Stacie. Because, she doesn't understand this world that they're living in.
Right. Now, Julie's 16.
Mm-hmm.
She's at a point where perhaps she doesn't fully understand her sexuality, and maybe she wants to mess around with that a little bit. She has a clear crush on Fatima, and actually, it's funny because as I was watching the series, I was wondering, what is this relationship exactly? Is there something going on here, or what? Yeah, so Julie ends up asking to kiss her, and then is embarrassed by
immediately regrets asking.
And then runs off.
And runs away.
And then we won't
which
see
will
them.
save her.
Right, it will.
So we're back at the sheriff's office, and Katri's explaining what any of this has to do with Sarah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which comes all back around to that logo on the candy bar. And he's like, well, she must have heard about it somehow. And he's like, no, I never told anybody. Yeah, the same thing that told her to kill Ethan.
Right.
Is what's saw. So you're being watched, sure, but not by anything good.
Right, which is something that Donna will say in season 2 when Jim brings up the possibility. And so, I think Katri is advocating for bringing Sarah along for this little adventure into the woods, which I think is going to take up the next couple episodes. Maybe I think he doesn't leave in episode 8, but he's like
episode 8's mostly flashback.
Right.
That's where we're getting his backstory and what happened with Abby.
So, how long has Katri been here at this point?
He was there before Boyd.
Right.
Because he's the one who welcomed him.
I'm just wondering how old that alcohol is.
Somewhere between 2 and 3 years. Longer than Boyd, but not as long as Donna.
And wow, Tabitha certainly made some
progress. She has dug a very deep hole in, how long has she been doing this? 24 hours?
Yeah.
It's quite a hole.
I'm sure she's pretty sore.
And where'd that ladder come from?
I don't know.
Was that just hanging out in the basement?
Aw, they're gonna have a romantic moment in the hall. Yep, that's right. She needs a massage because, she's been digging forever. And Jim is basically suggesting that she take a break and that he will take over.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he hasn't offered that a while ago.
What's your rush here,
right.
anyways? And why are you building such a large hole? You're trying to follow this wire, right?
Yeah.
And I get making it big enough that you need to physically go down with it, but this is like a 10 by 10 space she's dug. You don't need it that big to follow this wire.
At this point, I don't think that they think this is going to lead anywhere. I think this is, Tabitha probably does, but this is just busy work.
Yeah, it's her thing. Right? The antenna's his thing. This is her thing. And there's what's left of Kevin.
Yep, very, very dead.
Now Jasmine washes herself up.
Yeah, that was interesting in itself because she's concerned about her vanity and how she looks.
Right, even though you're just going to go continue your massacre.
Right.
So she finished off with him first, cleans herself up, and then she's going to let the others in.
I'm sort of curious what that says. How much of their humanity remains? Does any part of their humanity remain?
We're not even positive they were human. That's my guess. Christy postulates they used to be human based on their anatomy, but to be honest,
We don't know.
We don't know.
And there her friends come to play.
All of them. We've got the bride, the nurse, the milkman.
We know Smiley's in there somewhere.
They're all there.
Now we have Victor, who's about to get a visitor.
So Victor is packing. He's packing his drawings. He's packing his license plates. He knows something's happening tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He knows. How does he know that this is it?
He somehow senses it, or maybe there's something that reminds him of something in the past that happened.
And Sarah comes.
Julie
comes to see him because it's so funny. She's like, "This is the only place in the house I can be alone."
But she's not going to be alone.
You're gonna be with Victor. Is going into Victor's room with him gonna be less awkward than going anywhere else?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because remember, she can't go in her room because Ellis is in there brooding.
Right.
And she doesn't want to deal with that. So she's like, let's go hang out with Victor, the creepy man who drew my picture.
Right.
And she's asking about the graves. He doesn't want to talk about it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to talk about it. That's his thing.
Yeah, and that pisses a lot of people off in the fandom. They're like, Victor never wants to talk about anything. But, you know...
There's those peach cans.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're getting great shots of his room. And this is where you can look around. There's all kinds of things. There's an ambulance car sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the same one that we see in Tabitha's dream of the lighthouse. There's an RV sitting up on top of the rafter. All kinds of little details in his room that show you he's important. His story's important. There's more going on here than what's on the surface.
Oh, this is where he discovers the picture.
The picture, yep. So he's going, Jade's going through the journal and finds 2 pages are stuck together and there's a Polaroid in between them. And it's a shot of the diner. There's a car in front of the diner and a man holding this journal.
And the kid behind him, which is Victor.
Yeah, which he doesn't notice yet. It's Mrs. Lou who looks at the picture and she says, "That's Victor." She recognizes him immediately.
That's kind of crazy in itself. Like, did she know him as a boy? Because how would you know that from, like, him being on the edge of the photo?
Well, he's got his lunchbox.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I mean, it is possible, you know, Victor got this lunchbox from that kid.
Mm-hmm.
But she immediately saw what the guys did and was like, "Hey, that's Victor."
There's Trudy
so
about to
Trudy
deliver a pillow.
got her pillow and oh, she just said his name. I missed what his name is. The pillow's name. We learned that before.
Mm-hmm.
And wanders into the room full of monsters. So there's Smiley, and there's the mechanic dude, and of course Jasmine's here, and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And like, "Oh wait,
and
how do you know my name? We know all of your names."
Which is super creepy, by the way.
Super creepy.
And yeah,
Oof. Poor Trudy.
are you going to like shower before you attack more people? Because that's an awful lot of blood. In fact, come to think of it, how is that little smidge the only blood she got on herself?
Yeah.
So yeah, Dale and it's chatting up that same girl.
Stacie.
Stacie. Oh, what do you know? Does she live?
I don't know. I don't know if we see her again. Okay, there's the very famous scene.
Yeah, iconic
Smiley
shot.
on top of the staircase. And
Ellis hears some screaming.
They're screaming. They're in the house. Ellis is conscious enough to realize what that means. Everybody starts running. They have a contingency plan. And their contingency plan is head to the van. So everybody's trying to get out of the house to head into the van.
Well, not Fatima. She's going up the stairs towards the monsters.
She's looking for Ellis.
You know, a lot of people say, "Hey, why aren't there black monsters?" And there's one right there.
Yep. I don't think we see her again, though.
Yeah, and we don't see Jasmine after this episode.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Jasmine either. All right, so Victor puts a rope up on the rafters. He's going to climb out the window. He's going to take Julie with him because she's here. He wasn't planning on her being here.
Otherwise, he'd be like, eh.
He gives Julie the drawings and says, take these. And she's just like, what is happening?
Right.
You want me to climb out a rope out of this 3rd-story window? Like, what?
Yeah, so it's pretty clear that Victor is prepared for this.
Yeah, he's ready. And the rope, he's got like knots all the way down, so it's easy to climb. Like, he prepared that rope for this. Donna's outside trying to get everybody into the van.
Yeah, so Donna wants to go back inside and find Ellis, but Fatima talks her into going into the van.
Get these people to safety. Whoever you can, get them out of here. So we fill the van up, and with as many people as we can get into it, and they drive off. Maybe they should have waited another moment, because I'm sure a couple more people could have squeezed in there.
Right.
So Julie and Victor climb down, and he's going to tell her we have to go into, there's the boy in white. So he's seeing the boy in white. We have to go into the trees. She's like, you're insane. You want to go into the woods in the dark. But he convinces her we got to go to the trees, and he ends up putting her into a faraway tree.
Right. And then we don't see Victor.
For quite a while. That was our last shot of Victor for a bit.
Yeah. At least a few episodes. Oh yeah, I don't even think we see him until the finale.
We see him like at the very end, like the last second of the finale. So Ellis is climbing down the stairs. Very slowly, he knows the monsters are there. This one is that Smiley?
I believe it is.
Just kind of taking in the environment. Yeah, that's him.
So, that's interesting. I didn't realize that's a character trait.
Yeah.
It's him constantly taking in the human world.
Right. Very similar to the boss.
Right.
And it's okay. This is when he finds Trudy's body and thinks just for a minute that it's Fatima, because she's wearing Fatima's sweater. We got a very good shot of that calendar up there from the Rendezvous company. And flips her over and realizes it's not Fatima, it's Trudy. It was just enough that may have caused him trouble, right? Because in comes a monster, it's Smiley. And he has fast reflexes, smashes a window.
That's how he breaks his arm.
Climbs out onto the roof. And jumps for it.
It's actually...
Boom.
He could have done more than break his arm.
Oh, yeah. And Fatima finds him. She's still looking for Julie. We know she's okay, but they don't know where she is.
Right.
And there's monsters walking around. They're everywhere. And they're just taking their time because they feel like they can. Now there's Smiley. How did he get downstairs so fast?
Yeah, given how slowly they move.
Did he just jump down? Because we know they find themselves on 2nd and 3rd floors all the time, right? Okay, so she tests this, has no idea if it's going to work. She closes them into the vestibule and resets the talisman.
The monsters are all like, oh, don't be like that. You're ruining the fun.
It works. It keeps both doors so the ones in the house can't come out this door, and so it secures them in this little room. And it looked like the talisman was still on the wall.
Yeah.
I kind of thought she picked it up, like the one, in the Pratt house.
Right.
But it was never knocked to the floor. So the effects of it disappeared once the window was open, but it didn't actually fall. So the one in the Pratt house had to have been physically knocked down.
Right.
Just breaking the spell didn't knock it down. But see, she touched it to reset it.
Right.
And that worked. And a lot of people think, maybe it's more about what you believe, right? If you believe, I'm setting this talisman, it's what does it, is your thought process versus the physical talisman.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this is an awful long scene of Fatima crying in this vestibule area.
But remember, they don't know this is going to work.
Right.
This is like a moment like, are we about to die?
Right.
Because are they just playing with us that they can't open the door and they're about to open the door?
Mm-hmm.
And they spend the whole night sitting here.
Yeah, with Ellis with a broken arm.
Right.
In, like, what I assume is a lot of pain. So Victor and Julie are running in the forest.
Yep, they get to the faraway tree. And he says, give your brother the pictures. Tell him it's starting.
Mm.
And I don't think we got that phrase about ever.
Right, yeah.
And she comes out in the root cellar. In that little closet where Jade had saw the man with the boulder.
Yeah. I'm assuming.
The same closet where young Victor hid as a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she came out of. And I'm assuming she's just going to spend her night sitting in the root cellar quietly, and they don't know she's there.
Meanwhile, them on Boyd and Katri, unaware of anything that's going on, Boyd's like, okay, if she even blinks, basically he's being talked into the whole Sarah adventure. And he's like, if she even blinks, I'm going to, like, shoot her in the head. And he's,
and
they're laughing together.
we hear the horn.
Yeah. Because
Donna has driven the van full of all of the survivors to the sheriff's station. That's the plan. Get them all indoors. He wants to know where Ellis is. He's not here. She don't know. There's that woman that looks freaking pregnant.
Mm.
Everybody gets inside from the van. Boyd goes inside, and Katri's standing there and hears someone say, Father. So they didn't know his name. I thought they said his name, but they just said Father. So that could have just been because he's wearing a collar.
Right.
He gets his throat slit by the nurse monster's fingernails. And I think that's the same one who kills Tom.
Probably.
The nurse monster. We gotta take care of her.
Yeah.
She's a problem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're all kind of not fun people to be around.
So they didn't get his body.
Right.
Katri, Boyd brought Katri inside, so he'll die in here. He's gonna die in Boyd's arms. Donna's there.
They're gonna try.
And remember, Donna and Boyd, completely opposite. They rule completely separately. They don't really interact. They're two groups of people. Katri's their kind of link, right? He's the communication between the two groups. And here it is. He's dying in both of their arms.
And this might be something that shifts something in their relationship.
Right.
It's definitely different
after this moment, they come together.
Mm.
And part of it's the sense of need, because Colony House is broken. They cannot sleep there the next night. They have broken windows. They got to get the house repaired before anybody can sleep there. But after this, they say no more us and them. We are one group.
Right.
And we're going to work together.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember that before this, like, even him walking up to the house, she's like, you're not supposed to be here.
Right, yeah. And
that's the episode.
The episode. Brutal. So even watching it on mute, it's a brutal
It's
episode.
brutal. Watching everybody run out in a panic, like, oh my goodness, can you imagine?
Dying, Trudy dying.
Katri bleeding out on the floor in Donna and Boyd's hands.
So that was the episode that made me think that they were going to be more willing to kill their regular castmates. That it's a willingness that they don't really seem to have, like because Katri is the only real main character.
Right, he was the largest character that we lost. And even so, they continue to keep the actor around.
Right,
He's in like 3 or 4 episodes of season 2. Including he's in the next episode, in flashback form.
I mean, they killed Trudy, but Trudy's not like...
Trudy was, she was a recurring role. But that was our swan song for her.
Yep.
Cynthia Jimenez-Hicks. I hope I said that right. She did a great job.
Yeah, and limited screen time.
I would love to have seen more of Trudy. She's one that if we get flashbacks, I want to see her come back. I'd love to see more of Trudy because she's just such a great, fun character. I'd love to get to spend more time with her.
That was like at that point that was the best episode of the season and perhaps the series. But yeah, some good stuff there.
It was a strong episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing: if you don't have the other 6 episodes, none of that means anything.
Right, which is something I think a lot of the fandom had a hard time with, especially in season 2. Season 2 had a lot of criticism that it's really slow, right? It's all this build up before something happens. Well, you got to build up. I mean, this isn't a 90-minute horror movie.
Right.
This is a series that is going to potentially go on for 5 years.
God willing.
There has to be an underlying story.
Right.
You have to be invested in these characters.
Right. Yeah.
Even, the smaller characters like Trudy, we care about her dying. I don't think we care about Kevin dying.
No.
He deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a dumbass. He deserves to die. I mean, it's sad that he was all lonely, but he should have used some more brains.
Yeah. But if one thing I hope for season 3 and any seasons we are lucky enough to get beyond that, I do hope we get more flashbacks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not just like we've been getting a lot of flashbacks to the massacre, right? 1978. We've been getting little bits of that story, and then we get in episode 8 of this season we get to see when Boyd and his family came back. I want to see more. I want to see when other people arrived and when other stuff happened between these characters. Like Donna's been there the longest. We don't know everybody, like what order they came. We know some people, but I'd love a chance to see more of these actors that have died come back.
Right.
I'd love to see more of Cautry and Tom when we know they're them, not the ghost of them that we're not sure who it really is. And I'd love to see Trudy, and I'd love to see, how does Dale fit into this? When did he come?
Right.
Because he was there when Boyd arrived. He was already there. He was in that.
He's not married to Donna? Just kidding.
I mean, I was like, hey, maybe they are together. Maybe they're having some secret romance.
Maybe.
I don't know. I would just love to be able to dive a little deeper into some of these character stories.
Right.
But it's hard when we only get 10 episodes a season because they got to make every moment count, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like people talk about it being slow, that's just because they put so much detail into it. And like you'll think an episode, nothing really happens in an episode, but at the same time, so much happened that you think it was 10 minutes and it was 45 minutes.
Right. I remember, like when we started doing when I started doing the live tweeting, and like, the episode's over already?
Right.
About like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, didn't this thing just start?
Especially like as we're in season 2, it's like, wait, that's the end of the episode. I mean, even this season.
Yeah.
Like we were doing episode 1 rewatch with us, and you're like, wait, what? Like what do you mean that's the end?
Yep.
So this show has a way of doing that where they fit so much that it keeps you entertained, the time goes by quickly, and then at the same time you're like, oh, but wait, nothing happened.
Right.
Although a lot happened. But time's passing very slowly. The entire series, the 2 seasons, we're only like 2, maybe 3 weeks in.
Right.
And this was day 6 for the Matthews family.
Right. So day 6 for us, really, our entry into this world.
Right, exactly. And, the rest of this season's going to take a couple more days. And then season 2, like we spend like 3 episodes before we get through the day that we...
Even one night.
Right. The day of episode 10 is the same day we're on in episode 202.
Right.
So it moves slowly. So we're really... And there's a lot of people. And we're just getting to see like a lot of different things happening with all these people. And I think part of it, though, is that a lot of people binge watched the first season.
Well, yeah,
because they,
we have
like
talked
you,
about that. Yeah.
Discovered it after the season 1 ended, binged the first season, and then had to watch season 2 weekly.
Right.
And that shift in how you watch the show, a lot of people had a problem with.
Right.
Because they were used to just watching what happens next. And, when you have to wait weekly, you can't do that. And I think maybe I didn't feel that way as much as some people might have because I watched season 1 weekly. I was used to waiting week to week to watch the show.
Yeah, I mean, like, if a lot of people complained about the pacing of episodes, and it being slow and so on and so forth. But if you really watch season 1, it's similarly paced.
It is, right.
It's not really that much different.
Right, and again, if you just watch all the episodes, you're getting a different experience than if you watch one and stew on it for a week.
Right.
And now you can just watch all 20 episodes back to back over a weekend.
Yep.
And it's going to be a different experience.
Right, absolutely.
So.
All right, do we have anything else to say about this episode?
No, I don't think so.
All right, Stacie can be reached at?
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Threads at TVN Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Corn Productions. You can join my Corn Productions Facebook page. You can buy something from the Corn Productions store on Dazzle. You can buy me a coffee, which is a new way to support content creators such as ourselves. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video as well as subscribing to our channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Corn Productions, signing off.